The distress beacon was old, older than anything Cale Doran had encountered in 15 years of deep space salvage. It pulsed weakly from the heart of the void chains, a graveyard of derelict stations and forgotten vessels that drifted through the lightless expanse between star systems. Most salvagers avoided the chains. The risk rarely matched the reward. But Cale had never been most salvagers. His ship, the Harrow's Edge, cut through the debris field with practiced ease. Kyle's fingers danced across the console, following the beacon's irregular rhythm. It led him deeper into the graveyard, past the husks of generation ships and the twisted remains of colony barges until finally, his scanners registered something impossible. A life sign. Massive. Ancient. Dying. The creature was tethered to an abandoned observation platform, its body stretching nearly a kilometer in length. Even in the darkness of space, Cale could see it clearly through his viewport. A dragon of incomprehensible scale, its body covered in what appeared to be millions of crystalline growths. They weren't barnacles in any biological sense, but the parallel was unmistakable. Each one was a parasite, a void-dwelling organism that had latched onto the creature over centuries, perhaps millennia, draining its life force one microscopic increment at a time. The dragon, Varun, according to the fragmented data Cale pulled from the platform's corrupted logs, had been left here deliberately, chained, abandoned, forgotten by whatever civilization had once called it sacred, or feared or useful. Cale sat in silence for a long moment, staring at the creature's labored breathing. Each inhalation took nearly a minute, its chest expanding with glacial slowness before collapsing again. The crystalline parasites pulsed with stolen bioluminescence, creating a grotesque light show across Varun's scales that might once have been magnificent, but were now dulled and cracked beneath the weight of accumulated suffering. Every instinct told Cale to mark the location, report it to the Xenological Survey Corps, and collect the finder's fee. This was beyond him, beyond any single person. Instead, he brought the Harrow's Edge alongside Varun's massive head. The dragon's eye, larger than Cale's entire ship, opened slowly. There was intelligence there, ancient and profound, but also resignation. Varun had given up. Perhaps centuries ago, perhaps only moments before Cale arrived. "I see you," Cale whispered. Though he knew the creature couldn't hear him through the vacuum, "I see you and I'm not leaving." He suited up and stepped into the void. The work was impossible. That's what Cale told himself with each parasite he removed. One man with a plasma torch and a salvager's toolkit, attempting to free a creature the size of a small moon from millions of parasites that had fused with its flesh. It was madness. But humans had always been good at madness. Cale started at Varun's head, carefully burning away the crystalline growths. Each one required precision. Too much heat would damage the dragon's already fragile scales. Too little and the parasite would simply regenerate. He worked in shifts, returning to the Harrow's Edge when his oxygen ran low or his muscles screamed for rest, then launching himself back into the void to continue. Days became weeks. Cale developed a rhythm. He fabricated specialized tools from the salvaged equipment littering the chains. He rigged a network of mining drones to assist with the larger clusters. He even managed to synthesize a solvent that weakened the parasite's grip without harming Varun's tissue. The dragon watched him. Sometimes Cale would look up from his work to find that massive eye fixed on him, reflecting his suit lights like a moon reflecting a distant sun. There was something in that gaze now, not just resignation, but curiosity. Perhaps even hope. On the 32nd day, Varun moved. It was subtle, just a slight shift of the head, but it sent a cascade of debris spiraling into the void. Cale barely managed to mag-lock to the dragon's scales before he was flung into space. His heart hammered as he steadied himself, then laughed, a sound born of exhaustion and triumph. The dragon was getting stronger. Kyle accelerated his efforts. He called in a favor from an old friend, a cargo hauler who brought supplies and more advanced equipment. He worked 18-hour days, then 20-hour days, then stopped counting altogether. His hands became mechanical, his movements automatic. Remove parasite. Treat wound. Move to next section. Repeat. On the 78th day, Cale removed the last parasite from Varun's tail. He floated backward, surveying his work. The dragon's scales, cleaned and treated, had begun to regenerate. They shimmered with an inner light. deep purples and blues that shifted like nebulae. Varun's breathing had normalized, each breath now taking only seconds rather than minutes. Kale returned to the Harrow's edge and initiated the sequence to release the ancient chains that held Varun tethered to the platform. The mechanism resisted at first, corroded by centuries of disuse, but finally gave way with a shower of rust and frozen metal. Varun was free. The dragon's eye found Kale one last time. Then, with a movement that seemed to bend space itself, Varun stretched its wings, vast membranes that caught stellar radiation like solar sails, and began to move. It didn't fly away immediately. Instead, Varun circled the Harrow's edge 3 times, a gesture Kale somehow understood as thanks, as acknowledgement, as promise. Then the dragon oriented itself toward the galactic core and accelerated, its form becoming a streak of light that faded into the cosmic background radiation. Kale sat in his cockpit, alone again in the void chains, surrounded by the detritus of forgotten civilizations. He was exhausted, broke. He'd used every credit he had on supplies and equipment. The Xenological Survey Corps would probably fine him for not reporting the discovery immediately. But as he set course for the nearest station, Kale smiled. Somewhere in the universe, an ancient dragon flew free, and a human had made that possible. That was enough.